59 people dead and more than 500 injured after 64-year-old Stephen Paddock fired on concertgoers. We've just learned that Paddock spent time working as an IRS agent and as a mail carrier in the 70s and 80s. Now, police say Paddock had an arsenal of 23 weapons and thousands of rounds of ammunition in his room at the Mandalay Bay. Investigators are trying to figure out what set off the retired accountant who had no history of gun violence. Authorities say Paddock modified 2 guns to make them fully automatic, and that sparked a renewed conversation about gun control.
So why isn't this called domestic terrorism? There was terror all across the field. Apparently there are a number of things that have to occur for this to be called domestic terrorism by officials, and Mike Valerio is here to kind of break that down for us.
Right, and it's a critical distinction because when you call a case like this domestic terrorism, that gets the FBI involved and all of the law enforcement who are responsible for looking at threats all across Europe, across Africa and Asia and the Middle East. And right now, that may not be necessary because the theory of this case right now is that this guy, this gunman, seems to be a loner. Nobody affiliated with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, you name it. Okay, so there are 3 points to really get across here why this is not being called domestic terrorism. First and foremost, if it were called terrorism, that would tie up crucial federal law enforcement assets that are needed to investigate and look into terror threats overseas and terror cells right here in this country. And right now, those resources do not seem necessary at all as things stand at this moment. And federal law says that a criminal involved in terrorism cases needs to have some sort of overarching goal right here. He or she needs to want to impact something that deals with society, religion, or politics. And this man seems to be just a crazed madman. So, of course, Leslie, it seems so simple for many of us who are watching, and of course all of these families. Like, it was terrifying. Let's call this terror. But for law enforcement, that changes the ballgame. When you call this terror, that brings in a whole new set of resources that just do not seem necessary right now.
All right, and you've got more on this on our website, WUSA9.com, if you want to learn more.